because by and large, all our structures are intact and the Central Committee is meeting regularly. I have to concede, though, that, and I'm sure that a lot of my colleagues in the Central Committee will vouch for this, soon after elections in 2021, quite a number of our people scampered left, right, and center. But that was to be expected. Not everybody is strong enough to withstand loss. There are some people who decided to just remain mute. Others decided to even resign. There were people who tendered resignations from the Patriotic Front. But with time, when they have realized that the Patriotic Front is still going and is still growing, they decided to come back. And I am happy that many of them who had gone away have come back. Some are actually members, top leaders in the Central Committee. They had walked away. 2021, 2022, sometimes I was finding difficulty in forming quorum when we called Central Committee meetings. Now, when we call Central Committee meetings, they are oversubscribed. And there are many who are standing outside pushing that they must also be appointed into the Central Committee. Only a few weeks ago, I was in Mpika, where some of our members who had left the party soon after we lost elections and went and joined other political parties decided to come back home, to return home. And I went and received them. And this is the case across the country. We're seeing many of our people who had left coming back to rejoin the Patriotic Front. So, yes, I have to say, I think that those of us who have been holding on to this deserve a pat on the back, because many political parties, after they lose elections, they go into oblivion. The Patriotic Front hasn't suffered a similar fate. It instead has actually grown even stronger than it was when we lost elections.
Interesting. We have about 11 or 10 to 11 months to the next elections. With the current state of the PF sub-TONSE Alliance, as acting president with the convention coming up in November, do you feel you have enough time to put up a fight? I ask this question because on the ground, some people say if the PF had quickly come to this state post-elections and then use the next 4 years to show a united front and fight and offer proper checks and balances, you'd have been much stronger than you are today. But are you ready? Do you think there's enough time?
True. I want to agree with you that had the enthusiasm that we see now been demonstrated soon after we lost elections, we would have been in a more formidable position now than we are currently. However, like I said, it was to be expected that some people who were weak at heart, who were faint-hearted, some people who were worried that their association with the party would lead them into searches, into unwarranted arrests and so on, they left and only came back when they realized that things were getting safer. Secondly, hadn't it been for the external influences of the UPND government, surely we should have been in a more formidable position. Nonetheless, I have to remind citizens that you don't need 5 years for you to mobilize to win an election. You don't. 3 months is enough to organize to win an election. And this has been demonstrated in the past. I'm sure you recall how President Edgar Chagwa Lungu only had a few months to mobilize. He mobilized and we managed to win the elections. Look at the Senegalese scenario. After the arrest of their preferred candidate, they remobilized in a very short time, less than a month. They organized themselves and won elections. We should have started much earlier, granted. However, we were beset by a lot of challenges. But now that we're going to the convention, I am hoping that that will be the panacea. After we have elected a presidential candidate, then we should be ready to run, and run pretty fast, to prepare ourselves for filing of nominations and also for eventually voting for the Patriotic Front, not only at presidential level, but also through members of parliament,
And
council
councillors.
chairpersons, and councillors.
Right.
So we have the time and we have the determination. What is important is actually the determination, not necessarily the time. It is the determination which will matter.
Okay. The Patriotic Front goes for a convention this November. After that, you still have the issue of the TONSE Alliance. And just 2 weeks ago, NRP President Peter Chanda said we're going on a sabbatical from TONSE Alliance because TONSE Alliance doesn't seem to recognize NRP as its SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle. So now, as the PF goes to November convention and they choose a president, are you then going to shift focus on TONSE Alliance? Especially that PF as a party may not be on the ballot, but they have to obviously be infused in some sort of alliance.
Just to correct you, the Peter Chanda-led party is NCP, New Congress Party.
Yes.
And I have to say that I did speak to President Peter Chanda after he made that statement.
Yeah.
And I did indicate to him that it was regrettable that he was listening to the team that held the meeting that was organized by Zumani Zimba and Sean Tembo, because that is not the TONSE Alliance. Peter Chanda himself and all the other presidents know that the TONSE Alliance, which is legitimate, is the TONSE Alliance whose meetings are called by the Secretary General of TONSE Alliance, who is the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, in the name of Raphael Mangani Nakachinda. So I told him that he was being extremely reactionary and reacting to a pronouncement by people who didn't have the locus. Now, he explained to me that he felt frustrated when he saw that there was that meeting, and one of the items on the agenda was to elect a special purpose vehicle. That upset him. But I want to assure your viewers and listeners that this is something that we're working on, and President Peter Chanda and the NCP all acknowledge the fact that the only TONSE Council of Leaders that has the power to make such a determination is the one that sits when it is called by Raphael Nakachinda. And I'm sure that pretty soon President Peter Chanda himself will be making further announcements on the status of NCP in its membership to the TONSE Alliance.
Okay.
I don't want to do that myself. I'll leave it to him to do it.
Okay.
All I can say is that we are talking. And we're not only talking to him, we're talking to all other political players who are members of TONSE, and even others who are not members yet, but we're encouraging them to join the TONSE Alliance.
Interesting, because then I'll ask you, the TONSE Alliance that comes out of the Sean Tembo, I would say, faction with Mr. Zumani, also claims that they have the real Council of Leaders. So which one should the people, because people are losing confidence, Honorable Lubinda. So we don't know which TONSE Alliance to go for, because we hosted Mr. Sean Tembo and he said the same thing. His side of TONSE Alliance is the one people should take serious. So which TONSE Alliance? How are we going to handle that issue at TONSE Alliance level?
My brother, Mr. Chomba, an alliance is a composition of different players. So if you want to assess which is an alliance, and there are two who are claiming they're an alliance, what do? You measure them by the number of members. The last time when Sean Tembo and Zumani had what they refer to as their Council of Leaders meeting, they postured on social media, reading their so-called outcomes. How many presidents were seen there? How many political party presidents did you see? To my memory, I saw a press briefing after the meeting we held on Tuesday last week. You saw more than 10 presidents of different political parties. So if you compare those 10, plus leaders of different organizations, such as Gen Z, they were there, such as Sasida, the youths, they were there. We had a representation of more than 17 members of the TONSE. If you compare the 17 who attended the meeting that was called by Raphael Nakachinda to the 2 or 3 who attended the meeting called by Zumani and Sean, where then is the alliance? Isn't it clear that the alliance is actually the one that is obliging for the core of meetings by Raphael Nakachinda, for which I am chairman? So that is where the TONSE alliance is. Now let me put it crystal clear. We are working hard, and on that particular day, that Tuesday last week, Chairman Danpule, Apostle Danpule, called for unity. And he called for discipline. He called for respect for authority. And he called for order. On my part, I called for reconciliation. And I did indicate that day that time had come for us to bury the hatchet. If we wronged one another, this is not time for us to continue with the grudges. Can we bury the hatchet and start on a new plate, on a new slate, so that we can forge together? So we are hopeful, at least I am prayerful, that even those who are meeting on their own and not coming to meet with us can find it in their hearts, for the sake of Zambia, that we bury our personal egos and our personal differences for the good of this country, that we forge together. I say this because there is more that brings us together than what puts us asunder. Nonetheless, I also have to be very candid. Two may not work together unless they are agreed. And if you and I, Mr. Chomba, we're not agreed, we certainly cannot undertake any joint action. We can't. And if we try and we realize that we have irreconcilable visions, irreconcilable missions, what do? We must agree, we must accept that that's nature. We stay apart, because you cannot waste all your time, all your energy trying to bring irreconcilable people together. There comes a time when you just make decisions, and that's what leadership is. Make decisions, but make them in such a manner that you don't leave anyone injured. I wouldn't like to injure anybody, but I also wouldn't like to waste too much energy on trying to reconcile what is irreconcilable.
Interesting. We'll open phone lines soon, but before we do, maybe I can pose this question. You had a resolution made about 2 weeks ago as a Central Committee, resolved to involve the family of the late President Edgar Chagwa to be part of party activities, including the convention. What was the basis for such a resolution? And some people think you're trying to use that as for political mileage.
Not at all. And we are not using them to be part and parcel of our political activism. Not at all. We recognize the fact that President Edgar Chagwa, who was our president in the Patriotic Front, our chairman in the TONSE Alliance, and also our chosen presidential candidate for the 2026 elections, belonged to a family. And the family is grieving his passing. We cannot possibly ignore the fact that that family exists. And when we said we'll go and approach the family, it is not as though the family is the one that is going to dictate on what we do. Look, we already decided that as soon as possible, but before the end of November, we should have a convention. We made that decision. So what is it that we're going to do with the family? What we're doing is showing them the due respect that we have for them, to go and inform them of our program and hear them. Do they have any views? Is there anything that they would like us to take into account? So we are not involving them at all for political gain. Not at all. We actually are mourning with them. We're grieving with them. And by going to meet with them, we know that we are actually going to even invoke pain in them, because we'll just be reminding them that their dear Edgar Chagwa is the one that we wanted to field as our candidate. So you can see that we're being very careful about this, because it's an emotional matter. So we would have wanted to go ahead without them, but that also would be demeaning their stature. We want to respect them, and we will continue to respect them the same way that we continue to respect the family of President Michael Chiwufiasata. Not that we bring them in the forefront to come and do anything, but whenever we can, we like to inform them about what we're doing, because President Michael Chiwufiasata of the party, I talked about the interference by the UPND, but I also have to add the demise of President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. That also has had an impact, a big impact, negative impact on our work. It's so sad that for more than 135 days, ever since the passing of our dear departed president, the funeral is still ensuing. And because of that, we had to postpone a lot of activities. We spent a lot of time mourning President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. We couldn't engage in any activism because of that. I have to also apologize to all our chiefs. Ever since the passing of President Edgar Lungu, we've been absent at all these traditional ceremonies because we wanted to honor the memory of President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. We were not involved in mobilizing. We asked everybody to stand still and pause until after the interment of the remains of President Edgar Lungu. So yes, it had a very, very negative impact on our activism. However, later on, round about September, we realized that we couldn't go on. The only ones who are benefiting from this are our detractors. And we feared that probably they were also doing whatever they could to extend the delay because it suited them politically. That's when we decided that much as we are still mourning, we must not lose sight of what Edgar Lungu died for. Edgar Lungu died for the second liberation of Zambia through the 2026 elections. We therefore chose that, yes, we will be mourning him. However, we shall also now engage in political activism so that we prepare ourselves to achieve Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's goal of removing this government in 2026.
Right. We have a caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. You're through to the Political Podcast. Good morning. All right. We seem to have a problem with our phone there. So interesting. So you resolved that you go ahead with due respect to the family, of course, keeping an eye on and keeping, the funeral and whatever is happening around the burial of the former president, seeing that it's at court in check. You will still go ahead and help.
Good morning.
Oh, we have a caller. Good morning.
Vashmalani,
Mulishani, we've got Hon Given Lubinda on the Political Podcast.
Wino mkwai Mulishani.
Wino. Ndewe mkufi mulero njilola. Wanakatinda muringi, yenani Lubinda muringi kukosa kwa manu. Utungurushi wenu ubo. Shaku kutana kina. Mula wiko. Mule munaba nenu. Mule mkula kubitawa nenu. Awali kujela wa nenu wako. Nimwewe ni munga walugula. Nga mule panga madrementi yako. Mule pitana. Shiringiri lefi. Kutasi wa muntu umu. Kumutawa kwa chao iwe. Utunguluri. Alayanzi. Ubu wasi lechi vipire. Wonse mule kwa presidenti. Problemu ilipo hapa. Pula ukira kwa wena Zambia urutu. Wayu nga wapita. Uchushibuka chilapa. Mwendo shinishi mwewe mkepa wena Zambia. Imopo ni kwa manu mubika kutoa muntu umonga ni mundu bile sofini abato mutende sofini. Chapwa. Utungurushi mwiraru ilana. Kwebati uyalefaya ka interest yaka. Uyalefaya awe please. Epo tusikiri hapa ni bwana ndemburuleni. Abantu bale chule taro chonse. Amente mpuri mwari abantu. Kwa batonse bala tukugula. Yombati akashingiri yetu mwakusana. Uyabika pwaka. Please mletu mfia kwa usefu abantu. Uchushi na uchilapa. Bayu pienji nga wapita. Abantu waka kukuntala abantu. Nishimwe uvene mwalenga. So popenu kwa manu please wakapata.
Zikomo Vashmalani. So we'll take 2 more calls and then allow Honorable Lubinda to make comment. But thank you so much, Vashmalani. We've got another caller. Good morning. You're through to the Political Podcast.
Good morning. This is Aaron Nyirenda within Lusaka.
Mr. Nyirenda within Lusaka, please, your question or contribution to Honorable Lubinda.
Yeah, first my greetings to the acting president.
Yes.
Mine is to say that Mr. Lubinda shouldn't be saying that Mr. Lungu died while he's trying to liberate Zambians. I think Mr. Lungu, there was nothing that he was going to liberate Zambians from, because for the fact that Mr. Lungu lost that terribly, it means that Zambians were already in a mess under his leadership. The only thing that the Lubinda team can do is to organize themselves. And in as much as they are trying to organize themselves, they should know that Zambians already know them, that they can't change. Wherever PF goes, there's always confusion. They were in Uka, in Tonse, there's always confusion. So we can't give them another chance. If the people of Zambians are tired with the leadership of President Hakainde, it's better we vote for someone else. So right now, we are just waiting. Which one between Lubinda and Vashon will be saying that one of them is being sponsored by UPND? Because whenever they fail to organize themselves, they always place a blame on UPND, forgetting that it's themselves. So just to put it on record, Mr. Lungu died not even trying to liberate Zambians, because the HH already liberated us, including Hon Given Lubinda himself, who was beaten by cadres. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyirenda. That's Mr. Nyirenda from within Lusaka. 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. We'll take one more call and allow Honorable Linda to respond to Mr. Nyirenda and Vashimalani. We have another caller. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Inde mwasebenza bwanji
Buno bwanji bandani zina
Mkamba na mwani Kalenga.
Okay, Mr. Kalenga, from where?
Within Osaka.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution and question quickly.
Thank you. Bwanji wa president in studio mo.
Buyu no muli bwanji wa Kalenga.
Awe chili bamoyo simavuto chewe natetera ba New Dawn government haya. Cheninga kambe poncha kuti nkalani bantu bogwirizana sebendrani pamozi na banzanu bonse mu TONSE Alliance, so that mutipase president government za kampena naye. Mulando takayangana pali lelo bintu sibili bwino. Ende futi mwe nakuziba nchakuti abamini wali mu government sibafuna kuona imwe ba opposition mugwilizane. Munatunambira kudala mawe okamba I don't want to see the opposition to reorganize. Maona that means ndiye target yabo hiyo. Ende futi nabana ko wino amenenzo funsa ba honorable nakachinda okamba imwe mkamba bamini wanaononga PF ni ba UPND wishe muli na umboni. Maona but nchameni ziba nchakuti palibe nankani ofunsa ati bamini baononga PF kapena opposition ni bandani kapena wayopeno ni bandani. Mlando kuti spokesperson wa banakamba direct kuti if we are happy to see these confusions in your opposition because some of us in UPND we are sponsoring these confusions, so palibe no funsa ati mulina mboni wa bwanja maona. So cheti kama nchakuti nkalani bogwilizana so that mpulumuse bantu ivo donsana iya indine undine sebenzani pamozi ende futi ngati nchakuti sincha basi bafuna kuti mugwilizane muzashita banje organize since bamile sani wakati mkaleko na rally bamile sani mkati mshteko hivi bamile sani manje muzapeleka banje message ku bantu mlandu bantu this time baembekezela message muzala pasa already peti kamba pa ba New Dawn government balepera nkanya malaiti na vinangu manzi mbambili balepera but bakaenda maruo area bapeleka bozo yokamba tiya ibintu bilichebino bitu bwino ende mlibe opportunity wenda kuja kutumba mubazibi sati bami na mani sabe bami background in so muzapitana brangi across the country mamanta mina kwa kunyangono so that mtitandi zile ivondo sana donsana TV funa abaleta mavuto abantu even no shading
zikoma wa Kalenga zikoma. Yeah, so maybe I'll allow you to make comment on those three contributions, then we can take some more phone calls.
Thank you very much. Let me start by advising Vashimalani ukubomfye chilimba okulala baba nenu kutati kwate ni kwa mano is not right. Imwe Vashimalani kuti mwalando okutandi mumwa kwata mano kuchira bonsa wa mu PF. That's not fair, Vashimalani. You don't say things like that. Let's talk to each other with mutual respect. Now umfwefi mwalando okutila, we must leave personal egos behind, and that's what I've been saying throughout today. I've been saying we in the Patriotic Front have agreed that we'll go to the convention so that we elect a new leadership. We elect a person who shall take us to the 2026 elections. I have also said here, Chomba, that even in the TONSE Alliance, we are working hard to bring everybody on board.
Yeah.
But I also said, where there is irreconcilability, sorry, we have to just move on and leave some people in the second seat while the others take the front seat. It's true that our friends are incarcerated. It is our duty to make sure that we work hard to liberate not only those who are in incarceration, but to liberate Zambians generally. It is also not correct for Aaron to say President Edgar Lungu did not die trying to liberate Zambia. President Edgar Lungu had gone into retirement, but when he realized that the democratic space in Zambia was shrinking, he decided on the 28th of October 2023 to come back into active politics. What was his message when he came back? He said, I'm going to forego the trappings of the office of former head of state. I'm going to give up my salary. I'm going to give up all these little benefits for the sake of uniting all opposition political parties. To what end? He wasn't doing it for fun. He wasn't doing it as a game. He was doing it because he himself said he could not withstand the sight of Zambia going into a tyranny. He wanted Zambians to unite under all the various political opposition parties for them to liberate themselves from the tyranny of the UPND. So Aaron Nyirenda, my friend, President Edgar Lungu died fighting to liberate this country. Even the papers that were deposited by the Attorney General in the court case in South Africa, what did he say? He said that this government stopped President Edgar Lungu from visiting places because they feared that he was going to politic. When a person is politicking, what is it for? It is because they want to change government. They also said they didn't allow him to go for medical attention in South Africa because he didn't disclose to them what his ailment was, and that they were fearing that he was going to politic. Why were they afraid of him politicking? It is because they knew that he had rededicated himself to give Zambia a second liberation. So whatever you say, Banyerenda, the record is there that President Edgar Lungu died a miserable man, but he died in the pursuit of the good of the majority of Zambians. No matter what you say and do, Banyerenda, you will not take that away. And to say PF shall not be you will not give them another chance. It is not up to you alone, Mr. Nyirenda. It is unfortunately up to the Zambians. It is not up to an individual like you, Mr. Nyirenda. And we know that there are people like you who may not be convinced, but it is people like you that we're targeting with all these messages for you to see that we are suffering in this country. We are not able to afford 3 decent meals a day. Our wealth is being externalized because we have given away our copper mines. We have given them to foreigners. There is no revenue that is being accrued to the Zambian people to improve the welfare of Zambians. You, Mr. Nyirenda, the roads you drive on in Lusaka, who built them? It was Edgar Chagwalungu and the PF government. Can you show me one road that the UPND have done without a scandal? Look at the Ndola Lusaka dual carriageway. Your UPND government has gotten money, public money, money belonging to workers, and given it to a foreign company, which foreign company has externalized that money. And that is the reason why there is shortage of finance on the Zambian capital market, because you are externalizing the money that should be used to fuel the economy. Under the PF government, we wanted to bring in capital from outside Zambia to come and ensure that there is increased capital availability on the Zambian market. Today, we are paying toll gate fees to who? To a private company. And yet they are driving on roads that are being financed by Zambian companies, by pension schemes of Zambia. Now,
the argument, Honorable, would be that the PF dual carriageway was 1.2 billion, whereas this current one is $600 million.
And the specs are also totally different. The specs now are less than half of the specs that we wanted to do. And actually, this road, once it's totally audited, you will see that the 600 million is actually also just a waste. Because you saw how they were ripping off the road. They tarred the road between Kabwe and Ndola. Between Lusaka and Kabwe. And they were ripping it off because it was a scandalous project in the first place. So don't just look at the amount of money. you must also compare it to the quality of work. The quality of work that we should have done using that money was much, much better. Remember that my friend Chitotela was explaining that in that 1.2, we were actually also supposed to build facilities along the road.
And satellite cities.
Satellite cities along the road. Now it is just a bare road, minimum standard. And they're using half of what we're supposed to have used. It will show when the audit is done that actually this is a big scandal. And Vakalenga,
maybe before you take Mr. Kalenga, let's add some more callers because the phone hasn't stopped buzzing. You're through to the political podcast. Your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Mr. Chitalu calling from Lusaka.
Go ahead, Mr. Chitalu. We've got Honorable Lubinda in studio.
How are you, Honorable Given Lubinda?
Mr. Chitalu, how are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Nice to hear.
Mine is just a question. I want to get a clarity. I heard you, Honorable, responding to Aaron, where you said Edgar Lungu died when he was trying to liberate the people of Zambia. Then you mentioned to say he died for the fact that he gave up his little benefits that was accorded to the office of being a former presidency. But we've heard again the issue that is going on in the courts in South Africa, where Makebi Zulu is talking about the government taking away the benefits from the late president Edgar Lungu. Then you are saying he gave up willingly so that he liberated the people of Zambia. Can I get the credit on that one?
Yeah.
Did Edgar Lungu willingly give up his benefits, or it's the government that stripped of those benefits? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chitalu. 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. We've got the TONSE Alliance chairperson, Mr. Given Lubinda, and of course is the PF acting president. We have a caller. Welcome to the political podcast. Your name and where you're calling from.
This is Mwape calling from Kafiwe.
Mr. Mwape from Kafiwe, please speak up and then quickly give us your contribution.
Okay. Morning, Honorable Lubinda.
Morning, Mr. Mwape.
So my contribution is I've liked the way you've handled the party ever since you guys lost power. But what I would want to contribute on so much is we are losing time. And the more time we are losing, we are giving advantage to these guys. As things stand, the ground is very, very fertile for the opposition. But if you guys are disjointed, if there is no unity, we'll give them chance to rule again. And the people that are going to suffer are us, the ordinary Zambians. So all I'm asking for is unity. And the person that can make sure that there is unity across many opposition political parties is you, sir. So ensure that everyone comes as a team. Forget about people that are trying to bring disunity. You are the anchor person who can bring them together so that you form one thing and put a leader. If it's you, if it's another person, so that come next year, at least we'll be able to say, okay, there is change of government and we'll be able to see development in one or the other. So I think my main emphasis is just on unity. That's the only thing I would want to preach about right now.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. We'll take one more call and then allow Honorable Lubinda to start off from Mr. Kalenga, who's obviously waiting for a response. We've got him in studio. You can call on 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. Good morning. You're through to the political podcast.
Yes, good morning, Chamba.
Good morning. Please, where are you calling us from?
Bash Precious is Kitwe.
Bash Precious from Kitwe. Please go ahead. We've got Honorable Lubinda in studio. Quickly.
Yeah, I'm quite much looking Bash Precious.
I'm going to Given Lubinda. Ese tatu atale chula por male government. But Given Lubinda na PND as a coordinator for Butakewat. Oto twale miapo. Oto twale abantu kuba tumukiyefu. ulechulisha kanshi kunga tuwatunga ba UPND unga tukoza utasiste kwacha lelo umunga na tuwesta 275 na 280 udeni pure tuwalela ati 12 kwacha wa PF untisolezi kwa tana wadusha tunga tuwata 12 kwacha ile fiwa mshinda ifo chishani kupasha bakire Lubinda wantare chulika tanenga opposition to apapata wele mwa shon tembo wapate BF wombe chapa mwatosha rispati baka wombe njapa osa turefa kwa tulikuwa Hon Given Lubinda apapata tuefile niko ututela background tudele chula ba Given Lubinda apapata misalanga nawe ikataneni na tuatene.
Thank you very much. I'll allow you to make comments on the calls that we received so far.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bakalenga nizoona mdala kulibanga kane kuti opposition bayononga siba UPND because bene bakindi atiuza kuti bazaononga. You are right mwatikumbukiza kuti anatiuza mwine wake president wa UPND, president wa Ziko anakamba kuti these people are reorganizing. And he asked the police, why are you allowing them to reorganize? Don't allow them to reorganize. And because of what he said, the police have not allowed any political party except one to meet with the people. There's only been one opposition political party, and up to now we are even not sure why and how they allowed only one opposition political party. Ever since 2021, the last time any opposition political party had a rally was before August 2021. Up to now, 4 years later, not a single political party except one has had any rallies. And this is because the president of Zambia told the police, why are you allowing them to reorganize? He also warned us. He made a threat. The president himself made a threat. Tikawaona tiwapitila huku, tienda kumbuyo, tagwira kose, tapaya. How can a president threaten his fellow politicians to that extent? So, Wakalenga, you are right. I was in Mfue in a by-election. Just when I was addressing people, 3 Land Cruisers laden with police, armed with guns, came and tore the meeting to pieces and splashed tear gas on us. And yet I was just campaigning in a by-election. And you have a person like Hon Nyerenda saying that UPND has liberated us. How can you say UPND has liberated you when, as we speak now, one young youth belonging to the Patriotic Front is nursing wounds? He was being torched, burnt, even on his private parts. He was burnt. I went to see young Black Apple, John Yondo. Who did that on him? It was the UPND. And the social media is awash with videos of PF cadres being maimed, being beaten by UPND, and you have a man like Mr. Nyerenda saying we have been liberated. But I agree with you entirely. The question here is, did he give up voluntarily, or did government stop giving him benefits? Remember that on the 28th of October 2023, when President Edgar Lungu announced that he was coming back into active politics, he himself said, I don't mind even if my benefits, the benefits of office of former president, are withdrawn. That's what he said. I don't mind. Meaning he knew that his benefits would be withdrawn, and he would not mind if the benefits were withdrawn. It's not as though he wrote to them and said, don't give me benefits. No, he didn't. But he knew that they would be withdrawn. And it's true. Soon after that, Secretary to Cabinet wrote to him and said, you will not receive benefits. They withdrew police officers from his house. They stopped paying rentals for his house. They withdrew the motor vehicles that he was entitled to. They did not provide him air tickets as is required for that office, such that even his illness was not attended to because the state did not provide medical attention to him. So whether he gave them back or not is not the issue, but the fact is they were withdrawn by government because President Edgar Lungu made a decision to go back into active politics. Now, why did he go back into active politics? He went back into active politics because he realized that him being in retirement was not assisting the country at all. So he gave up and said, whatever you do to my benefits, I am stepping back into the ring for the sake of liberating Zambians from the tyranny of UPND. Thank you very much. Yes, the ones who will suffer if we don't take away power from UPND are Zambians. Zambians are bound to suffer. And I think more about the young Zambians, the youths, the children are the ones I think about. If they are going to inherit a country which is going to be a dictatorship, it would be ghastly to even imagine how they will try and liberate themselves. Because, you know, dictators in the world come not only through war, it is not only through military takeover, military coup. Many dictators actually come through a democratic process. And once the dictator rises to the helm of authority, what do? They throw away the same ladder that they used to climb to leadership, so that no other person can use that ladder to remove them. That's what dictators do. And for you to come and remove such a dictator, you ballot. You'll have to use other means. And imagine Zambia being forced to go that route after we have enjoyed democracy for so many years. 61 years of democracy. And from 1991 enjoying multi-party democracy. And now we're being brought to a point where the opposition must be decimated so that there is only one party that is going to govern our country. That is something that we have to stop. And I agree that we are losing time. We ought to unite. This is exactly the reason why I agreed to come on this program, to come and sell this message to Zambians, that please continue to encourage all of us to unite. Yes, I know that I bear this responsibility on my shoulders because of being acting president of the major opposition political party. Now, I've also said that there are a lot of exigencies in this business. There are a lot of external factors. You will recall, Bachomba, and some of you viewers and listeners will recall that sometime end last year, when I was assigned, no, this year, when I was assigned early this year to represent President Edgar Lungu in trying to unite all opposition political parties, you heard what some destroyers said. They claimed that I was planning to sell the TONSE Alliance to Socialist Party. And yet my role is exactly as what Bashi Precious was suggesting, that bring everybody together. I was working very hard, and I'm still doing the best I can to bring all opposition political parties together so that we form a formidable opposition political movement ready for the battle in 2026. Bashi Precious is right.
Maybe if you hold on to Washi Precious, we add on some more callers. I know Washi Precious came through from Uzakile, but we've got a caller. Good morning. You're through to the Political Podcast. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Nicholas Shamfuti from Solwezi.
Mr. Nicholas who?
Shamfuti.
Shamfuti from Solwezi. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I would love to respond to the Honorable Lubinda.
Yeah.
The issue of the police. the statement saying only one political party was is being allowed to hold rallies countrywide. But when I remember, if I remember very well, here in Kolwezi we had Mr. Ali Salama, who came to campaign for his councillor. And some time back, there was the last copper belt that was attended by him. And the president, Edith Alunga. So, and that he's claiming that only one person that for how true or indeed being that his followers. Yeah, he's not telling the explanation.
Right. No, thank you very much. We'll pick up another call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we've lost that caller. We have another caller this side. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello.
Hello, good morning. You're through to the Political Podcast.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Honorable Given Lubinda.
Good morning, sir.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm Mr. Lema calling you from within Lusaka.
Okay, Mr. Lema from within Lusaka. Please go ahead.
May I find out this issue of Mr. Mwemba at Ratsa? Is it Ratsa who said we only have jobs for Tongas here? How far has it gone? Have you guys remained mute or what over the same issue? Is it not the same issue that has taken the Shimbakambiri to court? Is it not the same issue? The police were very quick to act on Monia Zuru and send him to jail. Why has the president Hagainde Chirema remained mute on that man? Is the president happy with those remarks, Mr. Mwemba? Secondly, Honorable Lubinda, you don't have much time. You are running out of much time to organize yourself. That convention in November was supposed to be now in October. Because sharing a candidate countrywide is not easy. It cannot be done within 3 months or 4 months. You know, even in rural areas, people have to know that candidate. People have to understand what you are going to do for them. So it cannot be easy. And remember, when you come out of that convention, you will have squabbles. The squabbles that will be expected within yourselves, and before you settle down, you settle those squabbles within yourselves inside the alliance. Time is already gone. And remember, police are not allowing you to go on the ground to feed the people the information. Tell your candidate. So I'm seeing you guys are running out of time, and it is you people, the people of Zambia, have hopes in. You are the people who can liberate Zambia from the jaws of the UPND, who are crushing the Zambians.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lama. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's Mr. Lema from within Lusaka. So 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. We'll pick one more call and we allow you to comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Mr. Bunda calling you from 10 miles.
Mr. Bunda from 10 miles. Please go ahead quickly.
Mr.
Mwila. Okay, please go ahead.
Gwino shukuru mulishani.
Gwino bajayelo wesu. Tule chula mule umfafe mchalo muno. Muli nsala. Tule chula. Chiteni organize. Pangeni fast. Background epo tule mirolela. Tule mirolela background. Padi nsala mule umfafe. Padi ubuchushi. Lubinda. Chiteni organize. Fast. President. In October. Yale fwa kwa chita fast. President. Twice for president. Nani? Tulelo le background. Padi nsala